This is a recording of my talk on Baltic Honeybadger made in 2023. Bitcoin and Bitcoiners in times of conflict. And let me start with two extravagant claims. First of all, people are idiots. Yeah, including you and me. Second, global finances will be completely reformatted during the next 25 years, on the scales that haven't been seen for at least a couple centuries. The reason is simple. There are no more safe store of wealth in a liquid form. Cash is off the list because it's dirty. It's used for money laundering by terrorists and those who evade our institutionalized robbery, taxation. So, here we have the war on cash. Bank deposits don't fly because money in the bank is the bank's money, and shut up and follow the party line, товарищ. Treasury bonds don't work because they are fixed income instruments that are short volatility. That means when interest rate rises, the price of bond drops. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check the story of Silicon Valley Bank crash. Alternative fiat currencies, be China alone or BRICS altogether, are dead on arrival because their central bank policies are even worse than the US Fed, and they have very long way to come to create really open capital markets. Gold doesn't work because as money it has the same centralization trends as in 19th century. Nothing changed. So, finally, world economy will condense around single global currency, Bitcoin, and a set of local currencies. Bitcoin is perfect money, but right now it has minuscule real world touch beyond savings and speculation. Unless the amount of businesses that accept payment, settle, quote, and most importantly, make capital investments measured in Bitcoin will increase dramatically in few years, fiat state will simply suffocate and poison it. Does it contradict with the previous statement? No. Far too many people think that hyper-Bitcoinization will be easy. Kumbaya, everyone be friends, no violence, let's settle our dispute on blockchain, quote-unquote, etc. Will it? Mala suerte, los caballeros. Bitcoiners, you will be hunted for as animals. Or even worse, you will be invaded and bombed. What you Bitcoiners can do with this? Let me tell my story. The idea that we will have a war with the Russian Empire was clear for me since 2004 when they tried brutally manipulate elections in Ukraine. So I was set to prepare. Owning a gun legally in Ukraine is not easy, but I bought my first AK in 2011. Around the same time I became a member of Ukraine Gun Owners Association, which is basically a Ukrainian equivalent of NRA. Around 13-14, I became a participant of legislation process to create a sensible law regulating gun ownership in Ukraine. All this time I did semi-regular trainings with my guns. Mid-2020, trainings became weekly, sometimes burning more than 100 rounds. Basically, we were going through a simplified version of light infantry training. So I wasn't an average Joe that got first Kalashnikov right before the fight. I was sure I am ready as much as any individual can be. Reality check was brutal. When with all your preparations, you have your family and another 2,000 of civilians at your back, and all you have is just your car, and you hear at night for half an hour how the column of armed vehicles enters your teeny village. Only then you get the real feeling what you are going to meet. And when you are shocked like this, it triggers your fight or flight response. In times of crisis, you don't really have any other options. Otherwise, it's not a crisis and you are acting on one branches of your plan. Under the stress, you will always perform worse than you have expected or performed during training. So you'd better plan and train. And the more you have planned and are prepared, the better chances you have. Plan for shit hitting the fan. Plan, because when it will, you will have the most precious quality, you will be calm. By the way, the guy on the image has bad trigger discipline. So, you have decided to escape. Good luck, and remember to carry all your possessions with you. Got 60-40 portfolio? Oops. More conservative? Are you in the real estate? Gold? Cash, quote unquote, that you hold in the banks? Expect few of still working banks impose heavy transfer limits. Expect exchange rate fixed not in your favor. Good luck transferring physical gold or even paper cash through the war zone. With the real estate, you will have extremely reduced liquidity at best. Capital markets most likely will be shut down. And suddenly you might find yourself being of wrong nationality and have your funds be legally frozen or confiscated. Bitcoin? Just cross the border and find a local exchange. Even personal searches won't reveal your seed phrase that you have memorized. Lesson learned. Keep a large chunk of your capital in Bitcoin. Have you decided to stay and fight? Unpleasant surprise. Police won't protect you. It's not their mission. The job of police is not to serve and protect, it's to enforce the law. Army won't protect you either. The job of army is not to save you, it's to fight the other army. Lesson learned. You can't trust your personal security and safety to a third party, especially if it is run by state. And even more, you will have to use violence, and you will be afraid. And that's okay. It's okay to fear death, it's okay to fear pain, but it's deadly wrong to let your fear to direct your actions. Given this, what are the chances of opposing aggression? What if this is an organized aggression? What if this is a state-level aggression? Escape will just delay the fight. You can't flee forever, the earth is far too small. Even if you will fund your personal escape and drag it death, do you want your children to be forced to fight whatever you are fleeing from? Can we have sovereign protection without trusting any third party? Let me bring some analogy. Bitcoin is built on asymmetric cryptography. If it would be broken, Bitcoin will cease to work and you will have to resort trusting other people like bankers. Likewise, your physical security is built on your ability to defend yourself. And the most effective means of self-defense are firearms. If you seize your right to bear arms, you won't stand any chance for personal sovereignty. And you will be forced into obedience. Still thinking that police will protect you? No. As I have mentioned before, they have entirely different goals. Police will let your house burn during mostly peaceful protest. An army will happily kiss you goodbye when they will get the respective order. And that's just the best case. In the real world, an elected bureaucrat will make a decision. It will be collective, so nobody could be blamed personally. And they will instill it on your governments, either through under the law regulations, by lobbying, by court orders, and then the police will beat shit out of you, because their role is enforcing the law. Army will tie your hands and shoot you in the head, because of the orders. When shit hits the fan, you think that's the bottom, and it can't go any worse. Believe me, it can. It always can. Conflict is a natural state of affairs between hominids. It's peace that is unusual. And the only reason for a peaceful order is the respect for private property. And you own any property only when you are capable of protecting it. But the state is a regular aggression against your property rights. First of all, it's the main function of state to extort your property, preferably without you understanding you are being robbed. Second, state officials do it in the most ineffective manner because they are not personally rewarded for the results. This attracts most crazy, sadistic, and religiously motivated types to the state service. A state can't reduce themselves because there are no reward functions for state reduction. It can only expand. The only case when the state is reduced is when it collapses. So back to the question. How do I oppose institutional aggression? I am ready to be free. I am ready to accept all consequences of this my decision. And I know that the most effective means of self-defense are firearms. But my state doesn't allow me to buy a gun? Well, maybe. Your state also forbids you to create a bank. But you can make one. Some of you might be surprised to discover that there are very active communities developing all kinds of homemade firearms, from personal defense weapon, which is on the screen, to rockets, guided, unguided, and of course autonomous weapons. The state of affairs in those communities reminds me early Bitcoin years, or even Linux development in mid-90s. And what problem do they have? No business model, thus no financing. There was no Red Hat moment in 3D printed firearms yet, because this is a highly regulated industry. But I'm Bitcoin and uncensorable money. You Bitcoiners have to learn to defend yourselves. Garage-made firearms and weapons are censorship-resistant tools to defend yourself. But without a viable business model and censorship-resistant payment rails, they will remain a fringe hobby. I think this may be a beginning of a beautiful friendship. It's understandable that you won't like to do it all yourself. You don't have to be a farmer, a plumber, a soldier all the same time while doing your own business. Find friends that share your viewpoint. Create communities. Security and safety is just another service. Find ways to fund this on a continuous basis. Permanent fundraising and donation won't work because of fatigue. Buy it. Buy insurance against adverse events using uncensorable money and Bitcoin finance. Let me give you an example how it might work. Say you are in Ukraine and you suffer from regular Shahed drone strikes on you. You decide to buy life and property insurance for a specific time frame, say for September 2023. Insurance underwriter doesn't want to bear all the risks of mindless Kassab zombies decisions and buys reinsurance that there will be zero launches from Resource Federation and Belarus, so no drones will reach the territory of Ukraine. Somebody on the market sells her, immediately hedging 7 separate insurance contracts that there will be no launches from appropriate regions. An AI running in the distributed cloud deduces that a dead crew can't launch drones. So it puts a bounty for a methanol party for the Shahed crew in Belgorod Oblast. And as soon as it is taken, immediately sells the insurance that no launches will be done from there. Other MEV bots copy the strategy on other risk markets. Goal achieved. Insured property won't be hit by Shahed. All parties have only minimal knowledge about each other. Total and individual costs are minimized because malicious party immediately loses money. So, let me return to my initial claim. People are idiots, including you and me. Why? Aren't we idiots paying state office for our protection quota without any guarantees when we can act such risk and prediction markets. The roadmap to reach them is quite clear. To have uncensorable insurance markets, we need prediction markets. To have prediction markets, we need developed community markets trading in Bitcoin. To have developed uncensorable community markets, commodity markets, we have to have an uncensorable stable coin on Bitcoin and a liquid market around it, with all bells and whistles, spot, perps, dated futures, options. And on the physical security side, you should start with yourself. Get a gun and train. Find friends to join you. Create communities of armed people. Spread such communities. Lessons learned. Freedom and personal sovereignty could be built on two prongs: Libre money and Libre men, armed and trained. Bitcoin desperately needs financing and contracting layer. Best solution so far is RGB. You can't achieve personal sovereignty yourself. Cooperate. Finance cooperative actions with insurance. However desperate are you, don't surrender. Bravery and stupidity almost always go together, and they win more frequently than one would rationally expect. As a free person, you'd better be alert. Therefore, always be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everybody you meet, just in case. And if you will remember only a couple things from the math that I have told you here, I would like you to remember this. There is only one thing that kills most dreams. Compromise. Never compromise your dream. And don't panic. Thank you.